Did you know that one of the greatest temples in the world, the Kailasa Temple, was built in a week? Well, yes it was, and apart from this, there are many other mysteries about this temple that, on hearing, will surely leave you in awe. The Kailasa Temple is located in Ellora Caves in Maharashtra, and when it was discovered, it looked like a white mountain as it was covered by a layer of white plaster. Researchers have been looking into the history behind the construction of this temple for quite a long span of time. This temple also happens to be the largest monolithic building in the world and was an establishment dedicated to Lord Shiva. Many have compared the Kailasa Temple to other great structures such as the pyramids of Giza as well as England's Stonehenge. Speaking of Stonehenge, the people who built it made huge boulders of rock stand upright. But in the case of the Kailasa Temple, the rocks were removed and molded to create a structure that radiated perfection. According to some well-known scholars, the caves in which the structure is found date back between the 5th and 10th centuries AD, and other scholars believe otherwise. But the truth behind when it was actually constructed is still a big mystery to us. In fact, many believe that it was not built centuries ago, as the technology used to build such a structure was way ahead of their time. If you're wondering how the structures of this temple is, well, it is cut from solid basalt rock and was built to symbolize Mount Kailash, which is the Himalayan abode of Lord Shiva. According to some recent research, the temple is said to be built in 8 AD, during the rule of Krishna from the Rashtrakuta Empire. An estimated total of 300,000 to 500,000 tons of rock were used to build this temple. These rocks were assumed to be quarried out of the vertical cliff. But this leaves us with a gaping question of what really happened to the basalt. In fact, it is not just the basalt that has gone missing, but also the tools that were used to construct the temple. Speaking of the tools that were used to construct the temple, if regular tools that were found during their time such as hammers, chisels, and picks were used, using them on basalt would still be impossible. Moreover, using tools on a highly crystalline volcanic igneous rock requires tools and equipment that are advanced. In fact, building such a structure in today's time would be quite hard despite how advanced we are in technology and architecture. Another big question about this temple is how long did it take to build? Many believe that it took roughly 18 years for it to be constructed. The hypothesis behind it is as follows. If the 20,000 tons of hard basaltic rock had to be dug up, approximately 55 tons of hard basaltic rock had to be dug up per day. This would leave the residual rock to be disposed of, allowing the rest of the rock to be carved on. Though we mentioned earlier that the temple was built in 18 years, according to a medieval legend told by Maharashtra's Marathi people, the temple was built in a week. According to this legend, the queen at that time had a very ill husband and prayed to Lord Shiva, asking for a cure for her husband. She promised to build a temple devoted to Lord Shiva in return for securing her husband a cure for his sickness. Once her prayers were heard, the queen fulfilled her promise and asked architect Kailasa to construct the temple. Kailasa promised the queen that he would build it in a week, and he kept his promise. Apart from this legend, there exists another legend that states that during the reign of Emperor Aurangzeb in the Mughal era, an attempt to destroy this temple was made. However, this attempt was quite successful. After this attempt, it was stated that the temple could not be destroyed. During this attempt, approximately 1,000 workers were sent to damage the temple. After 3 years of trying to accomplish this mission, all that they could do was cause a few dents and deface a few figurines. Aurangzeb finally gave up on his mission, and the resilient temple still stands tall and strong today. There have been quite a few more assumptions about how this structure was built. One of them is an assumption by a famous Indian historian and archaeologist M.K. Tavalikar believes that the temple was built in phases and not all at once. This means that the temple was sculpted by different people during different periods, just like how many other ancient constructs were built. In today's time, historians have used a half-finished Sanskrit engraving carved in Brahmi script on one of the perforated windows in the temple as evidence to date the structure. Though it doesn't give the genealogy of the Rashtrakuta dynasty, it does prove that the structure existed in the 8th century. But other than this inscription, all the others have been battered over time due to weathering, leaving no real evidence to document and used to reveal the identity of the builder, nor the time during which it was built. In fact, even the identity of the creator is left unknown to us. All we know about this temple is that it is a beautiful work of architecture, and that it is a true tribute to the gods. There are quite a few magnificent sculptures found in this temple, one of which is the statue of Nandi, which is a sacred cow that belonged to Lord Shiva. The temple also has 100-foot tall basalt pillars with carved elephants at the base of the structure. Apart from all of this, the most functional part of this temple is the rainwater irrigation network that it comes with. The temple also houses underground tunnels and secret peepholes that were probably used by spies and trespassers back in the day. Let us take a step back from praising the mighty Kailasa Temple and take a look at its relation to the mysterious Mount Kailash. Many believe that Mount Kailash is the home of Lord Shiva, and there are many stories associating the both of them. In fact, the mountain is considered to be so sacred that many mountaineers have respected this belief and not climbed it. Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, and Bons are some groups of people who believe that setting foot on this mountain is disrespectful. According to Hindu mythology, only a person with a pure heart can step on this mountain. It is also believed by them that all the negativity inside them must be eradicated and the person can summit only with a devoted heart to God. But apart from this fact, the mountain truly does hold a mysterious scent in the air that has left many to wonder what it is about this mountain that makes us want to know the entire truth about it. Buddhist monk Milarepa is one person who is known to have climbed this mountain. In fact, many state that taking his name while circumambulating this mountain is considered to be auspicious. Historians, researchers, and various scholars have looked into the stories as well as the facts of this mountain. Some of them believe that the top part of this mountain has the remains of an ancient pyramid. According to Mumbai-based Sanskrit scholar Mohan Bhatt, the pyramid atop this mountain has been mentioned in the Ramayana. He has further added that the reference to this mountain has also been made in the Vedas. Mohan Bhatt stated, the sacred texts describe the mountain as a celestial pole. According to some other researchers and scholars, this entire area was once the city of gods, and Lord Shiva was buried inside this mountain. Russian scientist Ernst Moldashev was another person who wanted to learn more about Mount Kailash, so he went on an expedition with geologists, historians, and physicists. The conclusion that all these professionals drew out was that Mount Kailash was a massive man-made pyramid that was surrounded by smaller pyramids. They also concluded that all of it was constructed by the masterminds of that time who had great knowledge of the law of subtle energies. According to some other scholars, the people who constructed Mount Kailash were the same people who constructed the Kailasa Temple too. Though we may never be sure about this, we truly can't accept the fact that this marvel of a structure is filled with rich history and comes from a time when they were able to build the most exquisite structure ever. Researchers, scholars, and historians are still hunting and waiting for the day new ancient texts in Sanskrit could be unearthed, so as to unravel at least a few of the mysteries of the Kailasa Temple. Do you think more information on the Kailasa Temple will be unearthed soon, considering we live in times with better technology? Bless the comment section with your thoughts. We hope you found this video informative, and we hope to see you back on our channel soon. But before you go, do drop this video a like, click the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to be in the loop on what's going on here. See you soon!